Having a 6-month-old and a 3-year-old kid is like, it's just nothing, right? It is what it is. I'll wipe it up.
You have more patience.
Do I? I don't know.
Hey,
I
how
think
you
it's
doing?
more I've been like conditioned, but
This is about 3.5.
yeah, Joni just hit her like 3.
Total pig to the rear. Going on
Coming in. I love it.
for a while.
All right.
Try to get a couple recruits here, so see if they show up.
Sounds good.
Morning.
Morning.
All that out of the. I assume you were there last night? Recovered yet?
Yeah. I don't know.
Hi, how are you?
It
Yeah, how have you been?
wasn't the most frustrating game I've ever seen. There's some things that were frustrating.
First half, I just thought we were kind of flipping.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
I don't know how they got the energy they had that game 3, but they didn't have it. And
Just fine, brother.
yeah, so that was
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Wow.
I can't imagine what it's like to play against a defense like that.
Because.
It's not taking anything away from their defense, but you gotta call it both ways. That's,
How you doing? Good, good. Doing well.
Good weekend?
It's great. Yeah.
Lucky R&R? No goes on your time.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to work.
Yeah.
Oh, it's- yeah, see you guys too.
No, but I didn't know.
Hey, fire up. Happy birthday.
Birthday dinner last week.
I know, like.
Looks like.
I'm not.
Well, my two will be the. Red cow.
Hey, yo, which one are you going to?
Yeah. And.
I don't really like it.
So. It's like.
Haven't. Not usually my go-to.
Pistachios, she has.
Oh, I know. I know, I never trust, like, I can't, I'm freezing.
Just for you guys.
Around there. Finally got it through.
Gotta heal up.
Hey, Glenn.
Hi.
How you doing?
good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Hello.
She was just like, so, yeah, I mean, she's.
Hear what you have to say,
Hi.
sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right time?
We're the right seats up there. Wow. So we're like, yeah, we could never.
We're very.
Square.
not-
You know.
Got your pillow. We should be good to go now.
Happy now. Hey.
Oh, okay.
Not wrong.
I don't like to miss anything, you know me.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good show. I like it, I like it.
We're ready to go whenever you are, Nick.
We're ready?
Yes.
All right. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Has anybody,
Fire
was
up.
anybody in here? I did this before, and this was stretched over a week before. Was anybody involved with any of those here? Okay. So today we're gonna obviously compress that into an hour. So just like every open house, you can't control it. It's gonna be, I'm gonna take this wherever it kind of goes today. I might rush through some things. It'll be interactive, ask questions. Basically my goal here is to try and convert or change some mindsets towards open houses, because I feel it is probably the biggest lever you can pull as an agent, and I don't care how much experience you have. It's just as important for the day one rookie as it is for the 20-year vet, in my opinion. If you like closing deals.
Fair, that's fair, okay.
I mean,
Like those.
sometimes I wonder what we're doing here. Because, you know, what's the objective of an open house? Okay. This is what, I mean, literally, who hasn't seen this before or during being an agent? It's crazy to me. I don't understand the mentality. Why are you taking time out of your day? Much less did you prep or, I mean, clearly not. That's not the mentality. And I've seen it. It's not even far-fetched. So the objective of an open house, it's basically take a step back. What's the objective of being a real estate agent? All right. Because I'm not overemphasizing this in my opinion. This really is this important. If you put as much energy as you possibly can into an open house, you will be a successful real estate agent. So sales, that's really it. I mean, yes, okay, fiduciary, we have the responsibility of trying to sell this house for our client, all right, but might not even be your listing. Probably, I mean, if you're really trying, probably less than 50% of the opens you do are actually your listing. What you're trying to do is trying to get a transaction, right? The ultimate goal is a closing day. You know, that's the ultimate goal. Lifelong clients, why not have that mentality? Always assume the sale, all right? So if you go into this with this rah-rah attitude of, this is why I'm doing this, right? It's not to just check a box, tell the seller I'm doing an open, all right, maybe I meet a neighbor, whatever, right? Think about all these things. You might meet a lifelong client that you get to have multiple closings with and multiple referrals. Why not have that mentality? Let's just reach for the farthest thing we can possibly get. Always assume the lifelong relationship. So a lot of this is going to be a sales mentality. I've always said that first and foremost, we're salespeople. Like you can take all the classes and you can be the greatest nurturing person ever, and you can be a great stager, and you can have all these wonderful attributes of being a good real estate agent. But if you're not a salesperson, you're not going to make it unless you have some supplemental income and now you're spreading your time. You know what I mean? So you really have to have sales as a mentality. Don't be scared of being a good salesperson. You are your own type of salesperson. You make your sale the way you want it to be, authentically you. Everyone, I'm an aggressive salesperson. I am. I totally get it. And it works for me. And it works for my personality. And that's fine. And it's not for everybody. And I don't get everybody. And some people are put off by that, the sales breath thing, whatever it is. Okay. Don't be scared of that. If you don't have an aggressive sales mentality, you're not going to make it, because I mean, even me, if I don't have like an offensive attitude at an open house, I could let somebody come in, go through the home. They think I'm perfectly pleasant and leave. And I never asked them for anything. That's my fault. You know, you might get one at bat. You might get one at bat for every 3 or 4 open houses. So you have to have this mentality going into it, right? Psyching yourself up, getting ready for this game that you're about to play. And you have to be ready to close. You don't get the sale if you don't ask for it. So the mentality part is probably 90% of the open house, getting prepped for it. All right. So a lot of this is going to be about getting prepped. And so the objection is, give yourself a reason to come in on Monday. This is this week's Monday today. You should be coming in from this past weekend. I'm sure every one of you in here did an open house over the holiday weekend, right? Everyone raise your hand if you did.
Atta girl. Oh,
Did you? For real? Okay.
did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Let me just talk about my weekend.
Yeah. Oh, tell us. Yeah.
So, probably top 10 weather day of all time. Who would want to hold an open? I mean, painful. I did. I called up a friend of mine. I asked if I could do an open there. I had done multiples. It was a nice day. I'm like, holiday weekend, who's showing up at this thing? They just did a price reduction. So I did a little bit of prep work. I said, tell me about what you're doing with this listing you have. I'd like to hold an open, but only if it's right. This home had been on the market for 400 plus days. get a price reduction, I'm in. Because I don't have any listings right now that are primed for an open. So I did this. It was fairly busy. 3-4 groups came through. I met somebody. We clicked. They decided they want to put an offer in. We wrote an offer last night. Never met this person, got to write an offer. The price on this property is 1.7. Fantastic.
At the open,
I do it all the
it
time.
happens.
I do it all the
I
time.
do it all the time.
All the time. It wasn't my listing. You know how many times I've sold a home that wasn't my listing at the open? The only time this is number 3 or 4. For real. No, it's like, because I thought it was possible. I asked for it. I was ready. I was comfortable. I knew the home. I did all the things. So we're going to talk about how to set ourselves up for success. $65,000 is how much I made my rookie year just at open houses. That was my rookie year. Didn't know what I was doing. This is how much I made just this year off of open houses. And this is open houses, guys. Just this year. That's closed and pending. And this is career. So if that's not motivating, I don't know if you're in the right business, right? Like, this is a sales business. This is why you do this. Please align your thinking to an open house is to meet people, make transactions, get to closings, do it again. It's not a bad thing. Salespeople are great. You have to have this mentality that you're not, being annoying, you're doing your job and you're bringing value. So I don't care if you're door knocking, if you're making phone calls, if you're calling your sphere, if you're at a party, if you start talking real estate, bring value. Tell them that you're valuable, right? If I'm at an open house, I'm going to tell them all the things that they want to hear, like sales techniques like mirroring. Why are you here? What's important to you? If they don't say that I'm looking for a home for my 7 kids, don't talk about how this home is perfect for 7 kids. You have to figure out who you're talking to. You position it to what is important to them, because whatever they think is important, I think is super important, right? And then you just show them that you deliver value all the way along the line. Now, I don't know how often you're actually going to get a client to write an offer on the home you meet them in an open house, but it's the same mentality, right? Okay. So how do you maximize your abilities? 1% better every day. We're going to talk a lot about the prep work. I already said that 90% of it, 95% of it is the prep work, is the attitude before you get to the open, right? Control what you can control. Tiny gains. Like, we have a poster in our office, 1% more. So this is your opportunity. Write down some key things that you can take back. I'm not saying that I do everything in this list for every open house, but the more I review it, the more that I do, the more it's going to hit the bottom line and make you better. Atomic habits, same mentality, right? 1% more. I carry this through on everything. I carry it through on listings. We try to be better all the time at everything, and it makes our clients more money. We get more deals. We get better business. We get better photography. We get better staging. You just constantly try to be better. Okay, so week at a glance. Today's our Monday. You really should think about where you're going to do your open on Monday. You really should. So that you can use the rest of the week to prep for it. Okay, so let's just kind of walk through this. Monday is schedule your open, right? So if you don't have a listing, you can do an open at somebody else's, right? Figure out what's best for you. Figure out your skill set. The mentality is the best opens I've ever had were in scenarios that I was extremely comfortable, either in a listing that I was very familiar with or a condo building. I lived in the same condo building for 17 years. I had my best opens in that condo building because I knew everything about it. I knew all the neighbors. I'd walk around, give them a tour, people saying hi to me, right? It was the best mentality to be in because somebody wants to work with somebody who's knowledgeable, confident, can bring them value. So how do you show that, right? You just give examples. Oh yeah, well, right down here is this grocery store over here, and this is the school in the district, and this is what else is in the, this is why you want to live here. I always find myself saying the buyer of this property, right? That way you don't come off like, well, of course you want to buy this. I don't know if you want to buy it or not, but I can tell you who would. Maybe you're that person. The buyer of this property is, and then you highlight all the things that why someone would buy this property. Why is it unique, right? Why is this condo more unique than the next condo? People want to be sold. Inherently, they want to be sold. If you walk into a retail shop, you're there because you want to be sold. Somebody sell me on a belt, right? Somebody sell me some shoes. Nobody is going to buy anything unless they're sold it and told why it's better. I'm just glad you walked in today because I happen to have a pair of shoes. It's the last one. This is why it's the last one because it's already sold out. But you just come. That's sales. And so we've had some people on our team that are rookies that I'm like, hey, go get a job in the kiosk in the mall and learn how to sell a watch. Sell something because that's that little thing that you have to have that scratches that itch, that clicks to get to the next level. And there's nothing wrong with that. Get over that mentality that there is so that you can have people lining up in your sales timeline. Okay. So you can have more than one client at more than one's position in the sales timeline. That's how you stay busy all year. All right. So 3 to 4 days before you're open, this is Tuesday, put it on your calendar, right? We create a note on our team. We have a note that's full of information. Let's say that you're doing an open at a property that you might do another open at. Why don't you create a list of questions, frequently asked questions, and then you can get a hold of that seller, and whether it's during the open or after, now you've got it ready, you're building on it. Ask for the Wi-Fi info from the sellers. We use an online tool called Spacio that links directly to our CRM so that when someone registers, they automatically get populated into the CRM, which already has a template that is ready to say, thanks for coming to my open house. So time is money, 1% more. If you do one more thing, then you increase the chances of keeping them as a client. And maybe 3 years down the road, they're still looking at your searches and boom, now you're the person that is top of mind. Studies show that people use the agent that is top of mind. So how do you become top of mind? Do everything you can possibly do. You can do a social media post. Spacio is a tool that isn't automatically populated. You got to put in the listings. You got to put in the MLS. And there's also a tool in Command. We went through this last time when we did this, but there are ways, however you can most comfortably gather their information, you go ahead and do that. My preferred method for what works for me is I greet them at the door. I treat the home as my sales floor, and I get to know them first, right? I don't immediately attack them and say, please sign in or you're not allowed in. That's just not my style. You can do it however you would like. But I feel like if I earn their information and sometimes literally tell them, I would like your information so I can follow up with you and stay in touch about this property, perhaps others, right? And then I do it. So I say that, hey, look, I actually did what I said I was going to do. So be as prepared as you can possibly be. Riders, we're fortunate enough to have a big enough team where we can afford to have signs that literally say what day and what time for the open. And we can go put those out in the neighborhood in front of the house, open Saturday, Sunday, noon to 2. Make your own signs, right? Become an expert on the subject. Okay. So we do create that note, and inside that note, you literally can't have enough information, right? This could be a Google Doc. This is whatever format works for you. But you just start doing research. And like I said before, people are going to choose their agent based on what they perceive to be the best fit, the most knowledgeable, the most confident. And that's how you are confident, is to have an answer ready for all their questions. So you try to anticipate, what are they going to ask? What don't they even know to ask? If it's not my listing, one of the best things I've ever done is actually say to the agent who does have the listing, hey, do you think that the seller would mind if I came over, met them, got a tour of their home with them right before they leave for the open? Cotty Lowry was super nice and let me do an open house at a listing he had. And the seller was very, very proud of the home and in fact, really appreciated the fact that I asked to do that. And I was the most comfortable in that setting because this was a home that was exquisite. It had, lots of updates and special wood and Brazilian hardwood on the deck. And, all of this crazy stuff that I sounded like a genius. You know what I mean? Like, and so the type of person who was going to buy that house cared about that stuff. I mean, it's better than faking it. I mean, you can fake it too, and I mean, you got to do something, right? But get there early and get as much info as you can about the house. Maybe do it the day before. Review the supplements. Review the listing. Look at the agent notes. Look at, I mean, do I have to say this? Yeah, I have to say this, right? Like, it sounds stupid, but if you don't even know what the listing says in the public remarks and someone coming to the open, you know, they're like, they ask about the whatever, the lap pool. Oh, it has a lap. Oh, yeah, the lap pool. Yeah. It literally says it in the public remarks and you didn't read it. So there's just, you know, baseline things. And when do you do this? Do you do it 20 minutes before they open? Well, no, you're supposed to be putting signs out 20 minutes before you open. Then do you do it half an hour? No, you know, you're supposed to be getting ready and you're supposed to be looking proper. And there's all these things. So this is why you do it 2 to 3 days before. It sounds crazy, but when else are you going to do it? Read through the TISH, read through the improvements. How many supplements are there? Info sparks the neighborhood, CMA on the property. Now, do I do this every open? Let's be real. No, I don't, right? But if I don't have any listings and I don't have any buyers, what else am I doing? These are my clients. These are the closest thing I have to a client, the person I haven't even met yet, right? And so they're pretty much the most important thing to me in my business. If I don't have anything in my pipeline, if I don't have anybody else I'm talking to that particular day, I want to be as polished as I can possibly be for this person. Why would you do a CMA? Well, maybe that's some stats you can talk about to this person to try and win them over. If it's a condo, you can talk about average dollar per square foot. Where does this fit in? Why did they price it like this? Well, let me tell you, let me tell you why it's more important for condos to have dollar per square foot that kind of matches up. Looks like this has been on for a certain amount of days. You know what the average days on market is? Blah, 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 right? Like, all you need is enough content to talk about for them to like you and trust you and sign with you, right? So what's your goal of the open house? To get a new client, ideally be lifelong, ideally impress them enough to give you a referral and close a deal with them and many more in the future. So you start up here and you try not to stumble out of the gates. And if you do everything right, maybe you end up with the ultimate goal, right? And that's the whole thing. So I'd rather have prepped for an open house for a month to get one lifelong client than to stumble through 100 opens and not get any. You know what I mean? So be very purposeful when you pick your opens. Make sure you have enough time to prep for them. Ideally, take a week to prep for them and do something every day along the way to get ready for them. Walk the neighborhood. Maybe you door knock. What's the purpose of door knocking? Well, you're trying to have a real estate conversation. That might just lead to somebody liking you. That might just lead to somebody talking to you again. That might lead to you listing their home after you do a great job selling this home. You're trying to have as many real estate conversations as possible. And, we talk about it on our team, like, well, what can I do this week to have a real estate conversation? Well, you can call your sphere, you go door knocking, or you can hold an open house where people are literally coming, raising their hand, saying that they're interested in buying a house. How can you, I talk about this all the time where what other industry in sales gives you the inventory for free to sell it? You never even have to house it. You don't even have to pay to store it. Try starting a car dealership. You literally have to have millions of dollars. I just had a $1.7 million piece of property for free for me to sell over the weekend. It's just an unbelievable industry. I just love this. You literally have zero overhead. It's crazy. So go and preview the condo building. There's nothing more, makes you look foolish than stumbling around at a condo building. It's for showings too, by the way. I highly encourage people to go preview a condo before you show it. Find out where the lockbox is and where all the other things are. You really have to know your stuff with condo buildings, and every condo building is different, obviously. Where are the amenities, the parking, the storage? Where's the specific parking spots for the unit you're holding an open at? How do you get there? Where's the bike storage? All of these things. If you don't know the answer to a question, you're probably not going to get chosen as the expert, unfortunately. So it's like, what am I doing here then? not just here to open the door and let someone walk through and then leave. It's like, yes, you're trying to sell the property, but really, you know, we're also keep your eye on the prize. Another reason that I would do a CMA or preview comps, preview in person is, here's a fantastic trick. I'm done with my open at 2. If you really realize that you need a 3-bedroom condo and not a 2, this is a 2. I'm sorry this one didn't work, but guess what I know? There's a 3-bedroom up on the 5th floor. Do you have time to look at it with me today? What an awesome switch that is, right? I mean, you can't possibly provide more value. You would do that for me? How do you get in? Well, I actually have access to every property on the MLS. I can get you into anything, but I think this one would be perfect for you. Let's go look at it. I've seen it myself already, you know? That's a great move. All right. Place open house signs early, 3 to 4 minimum, 6 to 7 preferred. 2 to 3 days before. Especially if you're not holding an open of your own listing, why don't you check it out on the MLS and make sure that it's listed? I have been pretty upset in the past when I take time out of my day to do all of this prep work and I get there Saturday morning and I check it out on the old app and it's not even listed as an open. What? Oh my God. Not fun. Yeah, and meet sellers early. All right. Any questions at all so far? Open house kit. Okay. So obviously,
Sorry,
this,
one question.
yeah.
Okay, what about an open house where you're having like 50 parties through, they're coming through so fast?
Yeah.
How are you capturing this? You only
Okay.
can truly build relationships with.
Well,
What do you do there?
that's tough.
Yeah.
If it's a single family home that's underpriced in the heat of the market and people are flying through,
Yeah.
you do your best to try and vision who is a legit buyer. What do they look like? How do I pick them out? Have a conversation. Are they engaging with me? Because you got to pick them. And it's a great question because you need a certain amount of time. If you've ever heard me present before, I talk about selling umbrellas. I used to sell patio umbrellas at home shows. Like you walk into the convention center and you're walking by and you're like, what is this guy's trying to sell? You know, crazy, right? So I knew these patio umbrellas were $1,200. I was really good at it. I mean, I sold 1,000 of them in 1 year. And so I have to, from someone walking by, I have to get their attention. I have to get them to like me. I have to get them to like the product. I have to figure out if they're a buyer and I have to close them. And that is a 20-minute window. I knew it was 20 minutes, right? If it takes longer, they're not legit. And it takes me 20 minutes to earn their trust. So it's the same thing with an open house. So I had a little bit of an edge when I was doing open houses. So you get them in the door, you greet them. It's your, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. My name is Nicoli Holm. What brings you in today?
Yeah, I'm looking for we're looking to move.
Well, I'm so glad that you came in. Open houses are perfect. Now, have you been looking long?
I just started our search, yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, wonderful. Now, if you ask that question and they're like, yeah, we've been looking for a while. Oh, have you made any offers? If they made some offers, they're working with somebody, right? Cool. Have a great day. Let me know if you have questions. You're dead to me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, just kidding. Just kidding.
Kidding, not kidding.
Only come back with important questions. Okay, but you have to feel it out, especially if it's busy.
Yeah.
Now, also something I learned, this is me, my preference. People say, okay, get someone in there to help you, get a lender in. No. I don't like that. Personally, I don't like that because this is my mojo, right? Like this is me setting my own tempo and I might just pop over. I might be doing this on purpose. I might follow them around the house. I might, hey, how you doing up there? I'll be up in a second. Whatever it is. I don't want some other guy taking up my time because they also have a clock. Nobody sticks around an open house for an hour, no, they're going to stick around for probably 10 minutes, maybe 20. And if some lender is talking to them about who knows what is not important to me, right? So, but you have to be conscious about it because you want to be nice too.
Yeah.
And I get caught up in it. Hey, great. Oh, you're a neighbor. Oh, awesome. And they come in and they start talking about something dumb. And then they say, oh, well, you know what? And then there's something wrong with this house. And I'm like, get out of here, So I struggle with that, but I want to be by myself and you got to kind of pick them. So, yeah. But you do little tricks to see if they're working with anybody instead of just flat out asking.
Sometimes you ask them and they lie.
Yeah, for sure.
What? Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, so this is really the meat and potatoes of the whole deal. You are trying to earn their trust, right? So I really save that question until the right time. Because they will, of course. Are you working with somebody? Oh yeah, we're fine, man. You know, I mean, it's so funny to me when someone comes in and I'll be like, hey, how you doing? And they keep walking the other way and they're walking into the kitchen. I'm like, oh, hey, I was asking, you know, like, look, I'm gonna beat you down and I'm gonna win. I mean, it happens all the time. I've had the woman say we're working with somebody, the husband says, no, we're not working with anybody. I'm like, I got you, right? And then I get them. I was doing an open. This is actually, you said, oh, you met someone and sold at the open. One of my favorites is there was a house on Minnehaha Creek, and I had got the listing by door knocking, and it was my third or fourth time doing the open. I was comfortable in this house, right? So I knew enough about it. Somebody was running by with their dog, tied the dog up, came in the house, right? I'm like, all right, I don't have very much time. So chat. We connected. It was fun. Great. Thank you. I'd love to work with you guys. Sounds good, right? 5 minutes later, they come back. They're like, Nicoli, we want you to help us buy that house because they're having an open. We got it.
Yeah.
I got them approved. It was a Sunday afternoon. I got them approved with my lender in 2 hours. We got our offer accepted. It was fantastic, right? But I had asked them for their business before they left. I said, look, I don't know if it's this house or not, but I would love to work with you. So you're never going to get the sale unless you ask for it, right? And they have to respect that. I mean, who doesn't want to work with an agent that's like, look, I'm gonna hustle for you, right? And I'll flat out tell them, you're not going to find anyone better, so let's just work together. Let's just do it. Like I'm just telling you right now. Well, you're probably looking for the expert in this neighborhood, aren't you? That's me, right? That's why I'm here right now. Yeah. Okay, your open house kit. Remove shoe sign. Please sign in for owner's request. Maybe. I don't know. Sometimes you have to have emergency supplies. You know, if you've got like anything going on in that house that's kind of gross or dirty, booties, you know, if you want to keep this stuff in your car, a wireless speaker is kind of nice. Maybe your open has a little bit of ambient noise that you want to kind of black out, you know. I've been known to wash some windows in my opens, you know, kitchen windows or whatever the most important window is, looking out in the backyard. Light bulbs, I do literally carry around light bulbs in my car. I'm a big stickler. I hate when there's cool and warm colors.
Oh, yeah.
It drives me crazy. Toolkit. I keep a laser measure in my backpack. People just want to measure stuff. It's kind of, I don't know why, but it's an excuse for me to talk to them. So, hey, guess what I got? Hey, let's go to measure some stuff. All right, yeah. Business cards, Wi-Fi hotspot, trash bags, bottled water. You know, if the point is, the less frazzled you are, the better you're going to feel, the better you're going to come across to the people that you interact with, right? So however you get prepared is up to you, but just get prepared. Get more prepared every time. Be more prepared this time than you were last time, right? Just always get better, 1% better. Okay, day of the open set. So this is I used to work with my father and he's in insurance and he worked with independent insurance agents. And there's a lot of similarities with independent insurance agents as real estate agents. You know, independent contractors wear all the hats, they do the marketing and the business and all this stuff, right? And he taught me a lot, my dad. We were doing an online, we started a company and this was our guy. And Mr. Tom Larson is what we called him, his stock photo. And we put him all over the place. And he basically told me what you're looking for is a local trusted authority, right? Whether it's an insurance man or a real estate agent or a car mechanic or a plumber, You want someone who's local, who's comfortable, who's knowledgeable, and you can trust. So how do you, as quickly as possible, become that person? And so you have to be authentic, you have to be prepared, you have to be comfortable, you have to be knowledgeable. How do you, as quickly as possible, instill this into somebody who just walked in the door, doesn't know you, might have an attitude that they don't like real estate agents in general, and is pressed for time, right? That's the challenge every single open house. And you realize that challenge, and I accept that challenge, and it's a sales game, and it's a numbers thing. How many open houses have I done at this one that I finally got a client at? I think 8 or 9. This home's been on for 400 days. I kept doing them because check the box for my target audience. I mean, that's who I want to work with. You know, I was consistently getting phone numbers, and one of these is going to hit. This is going to be great. So, all right. So that's the mentality, local trusted authority. However you become that person is up to you, but that's your goal. So, day of your open house. What are you going to wear? That's very important. You dress for the clients that you want to have, in my opinion. I always have business cards in my pocket. I am ready to go. Place 6 to 10 signs. That would be lovely, right? What you're trying to do is take this opportunity to market for yourself. If you have your own branded signs, that's ideal. We have our name and number on our signs. At least you're blanketing the neighborhood, and people will think, oh boy, that person really does a lot of business in this town. Here's a little tip. If you're in a neighborhood where you've got, I don't know if your signs are step in or not, or whatever they are, but what a great opportunity to door knock someone, to ask their permission if you can put a sign in their yard. No one's ever done that before. Thank you so much. I am really annoyed by people, but you, I like. And it happens every time. If somebody's super annoyed and you're like, this is a busy corner, and I've done it in like up in Hollydale, you know, where there's new construction and parade of homes and all this, and there's like literally 20 signs there, and it's super annoying and ugly, and I can tell they're all over in this corner because that's the only one that's not privately owned. I want to be in this corner. So I go up, I knock on the door, and he goes, you know what? And this is through Ring Cam. He goes, you know what? I really appreciate you asking. Probably dealt with it his entire life. And he goes, yes, you can. Yep. So,
And your follow-up question is, and if anybody else places one there without asking, will you please remove it? Have it removed.
yeah. Okay, get to the house early. Again, this is all for prep, right? So I'm not joking when I say 30 minutes early. I mean, that goes by quicker than you would think. What if you run into something? The last thing you want to do is still be getting ready when somebody comes in the door, and then you're scrambling. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get the lights, or I didn't see there was cat poop on the middle of the floor down there. You know, whatever is going on.
Dead bird in the patio.
Yeah.
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 All the shades open, right? Maybe you crack a window depending on time of year. Toilet seats are down. Hopefully they're not disgusting. And lay out all your marketing stuff. Take 5 minutes to mentally prepare. Get yourself psyched up. Maybe get some music going. Get your sign-in stuff all ready. Maybe have your CMA open. Another thing I've been doing that I found kind of fun is to have Google Earth open with the address. Why did I just think of this just now? It's
good.
It's been pretty much handy for every open I've ever done since I thought of it. So, you know, you can never be too prepared. Get there early, do yourself a favor, get in the right headspace. It's going to pay off. Even if you just get one person in, it's going to be worth it. You've already taken the time. You've already carved out. Let's be honest. An open house is going to cut out 6 hours of your Saturday, right? Prep, during, after. You're not doing anything else. I don't schedule anything before my opens. I would suggest you don't either. Try and squeeze in a showing before you're open. What could be more frazzling than that? Like, just don't do it, you know? By the way, you are in control of your schedule. If you think that your buyers have to look at properties on Saturday between 11 and 2, that's wrong. You can coach them better than that, right? You are better than this. You're a salesperson. You can coach them to look at them during the day on the weekdays if they really want a house, right? So, open houses, I say, my Saturdays and Sundays are for open houses. Seems to be working just fine. Okay,
Yes, so.
I mean, you can, don't, you know what I mean? Like, take control of your own business.
That's when people are shopping.
Well, an open house is at 25% of my business. That's gonna get my attention. Like, open houses are very, very important to me. And they could be very important to any agent if you make them important and you do all these things so that you get the payoff. Because if you do 1% more on all these things, all of a sudden you start to get a return on your investment. Greet them with a smile, a handshake, ask them what brings them to the open. Are you here as a buyer or looking to sell in the neighborhood? Which one is it? Probably one of those. Otherwise, you wouldn't be taking time out of your day. Where did you travel from? Where do you live right now? Well, remember, my name is Nicoli Holm, and I know everything about the property, so please ask me questions. Please come back. Please engage with me. What was it about this house that motivated you to see it today? What a great question that is, right? Because that's going to tell you what's most important to them.
Say it one more time.
What motivated you to come see this house today? What was it? I'm curious. Out of all the homes that are active today, why did you pick this one to come and look at? Was it location? Wonderful. Let's talk about the location a little bit. Was it the fact that it had 3 bedrooms on one level? Oh, that's interesting. Why is that important to you? Interesting. Okay. You know, whatever it is. So I started to talk a while back about you really only need, you need to be prepped so you have content to talk about. You only need a certain amount of content before they like you, trust you, and sign with you. So it doesn't really matter what that content is. It just has to be coming from you, very strong and confident, right? So pick pick what you understand. Don't start talking about like the Golden Valley new what is it called with the sump pump and the blah blah. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, don't start diving into some content that's confusing and you don't even understand. Like, stay away from that stuff. Plenty of time to research that later. Stick to what you're confident with, and it's called mirroring, right? So when you ask that question about, well, what brought you here today? Obviously, that's important to you. Let's talk about what's important to you.
Nikolai, if you do a CMA and the house is overpriced and your CMA shows that it is, isn't that not good for the seller?
Well, I'm not diving into the CMA necessarily. That's pretty in depth. But what's nice to know is, how does it stack up? Where does it excel? What are the sale points of this particular property? You just want to know more than the other person, right? So one thing a CMA tells you is what's sold around the corner. You know, it's funny to me, everyone assumes that because you're in real estate, you know everything about every property that ever sold. Well, of course you saw this one on XYZ. Yep. No idea what you're talking about. You know, I mean, are you kidding me? I have a listing in Elk River and Woodbury right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I love to tell them that. I'm like, don't worry about it. I work everywhere. Last summer, I had a listing in North Branch and Winona, the same exact time. Like, it doesn't matter to me. You know, I'm not going to tell you that I specialize in an area and I shouldn't be an expert in this, because what am I doing with all my extra time? So, yeah, the CMA is, you know, you pick and choose what you use out of that. But it's just additional content to have for, you know, talking points. One thing that happens a lot when neighbors come in is, well, I know what their home sold for. Do you really? Let's actually dive into it and let's look at the history of it, because I found that interesting as well. But you see that it actually started out listed here and it sold for this. It sold for that. Yeah, it says it right here. Yeah, it actually sold for that. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. You know what? Like, there's so much misconception out there. Everyone uses Zillow for a tool and it's not really a tool. And, you know, what you're trying to do is say, look, I'm a professional. I do professional things. Let me talk to you about some of the professional things that I work with and why that this, you know, this is more than just, you know, flipping through pretty pictures on Zillow. And so that's how do you get that across in 5 minutes, you know? So if a nosy neighbor comes in, why do you think they're coming in? I mean, honestly, they might just be nosy and they like to go to every open just to see, you know, what did they really do in the kitchen? However, do you think you might sell someday? I don't know. Maybe not for a couple of years. Oh, 2 years. I got that kind of time.
Right.
That sounds okay. Well, why don't I tell you what? Why don't I get your information? I'm gonna let you know how this whole thing shakes out. I'm gonna tell you all the details, you know, however that is. make notes as you go. When you get questions, frequently asked questions section is a great thing. Tell the sellers to be ready for texting questions. There's nothing better than immediate answers. I love that. Gives me another reason to talk to them right now instead of following up later. If a buyer already has representation and spends a lot of time in the home, ask who their agent is and call them to let them know, right? That would be a very nice thing to do, whether it's your listing or not. Other agents probably going to appreciate it. What? They're out again? I haven't talked to them in months. Well, get on it, man. Okay, after the open, any other questions about, I mean, really what you're doing in the open, and the main reason for this whole thing is to prep, to have the attitude that this is your sales floor, that they are invited into, this is your domain, right, for the day. And you have to have the attitude that they are here to learn from you, whether they like it or not.
Your sales floor. Surely you've been asked, and many of us probably have, is this your listing, Nicolai?
I don't really get that question.
You don't.
People don't know who the listing agent is. Yeah.
It's,
Now,
it's funny how many times I get that question.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, is that true? Like, I always say, no, it's not my listing.
If,
My colleague.
It's
a
a
colleague.
listing by a team member of mine or a colleague, but you don't get that. Okay, yeah.
if,
How would you respond to that?
well, so if I am the listing agent, I do say that right away. Hey, how you doing? My name's Nicoli Holm. I'm the listing agent.
Yeah.
Right? I do like to announce that right away. If I'm not, I just introduce myself. Yep. Now, if they ask me the question, I'll say, no, I'm not, but I can help you with any questions you have. I mean, I don't think that, they just don't know what to ask, right? Most people are like, oh, what do I ask an agent? I've never talked to an agent before. Are you the listing? So, yeah. And you have that small percentage of people who want to represent themselves or only want to talk with so-and-so. Don't waste your time trying to convert them. They're not the kind of person you want to work with anyway, right? So you spend this time to, as quickly as possible, evaluate if somebody is reciprocating the interest, and you nurture it, and you see where it goes. And if it's not, do it again, then do it again, do it again. It's a quantity thing. You got to keep going. You got to keep that attitude up, keep your head up. Sales is a tough business. You get beat up, and it's numbers. And, I mean, man, I did 8 opens at this place and I finally met somebody, but it's paying off, it's something proactive that you have control of. There's only so many silos to get business from, and this is one you have full control of. You can schedule 7 open houses in a week if you want. You can do 2 a day. If I was a rookie agent starting tomorrow, the advice I would give myself is do 3 open houses every weekend. Do a Friday, do 2 Saturday, do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, load it up. What else are you doing? What are we doing here? Door knock before, after it sells, door knock after. There's a lot of ways to have real estate conversations to get an opportunity to display how knowledgeable and trustworthy you are. And that's the whole thing. I mean, your friends and family are going to take a while to realize
That's true.
how brilliant you are. All right. Any other questions on the actual open house? That really is kind of that's the sweet spot. I imagine what you all thought this entire thing was going to be about, but it's a sales attitude, and you have to be your own cheerleader and pump yourself up before you go and do it. And if you're prepared, just like for a test, you're confident and you'll do well. Okay. After the open, leave a thank you note for the sellers. Wouldn't that be nice? Follow up with a phone call to your contacts right away. Now, here's the thing. So you just made an impression. You feel like you nailed it. Home run. These people love you. Obviously, it's locked up. Boom. You're counting your money because there's almost a closing around the corner. Every minute that goes by, you become less and less relevant. They forget who you even are. They meet another agent 10 minutes later at another open. So think about that diminishing return you have. You have an opportunity here. So you take that time when you are with them to say, ideally, would you like to sign with me right now? Oh, that's for real. Jeannie does it all the time. If you can't get them to sign with you, set a meeting. If you can't get a meeting, set a follow-up call, right? Do something, ask for something, If you can't get that, tell them you will be receiving an email from me after this open, and it will have this information in there. And then do it. Now you do what you say you're going to do. Here's something else that I started doing. I will go in to, let's just see. I'll show you what I did for this listing. You go into the supplements and you copy and paste the links to the supplements, put them in the note, and then you copy and paste the whole thing and put that into the follow-up email. So now you're bringing value, right? You're trying to figure out, how do I bring value to this dude that I don't even know anything about? Well, supplements. Yeah, can't get them any other way except for an agent. So you guys understand how I did that? Like, you literally go into the listing, right? You go to the supplements page and you copy, right? Copy and paste. I put it into a note, then it, so you can get rid of the formatting because it's in cells and rows and awkward. And so now you have some value to bring them. I don't care who they are. They came into your listing, but I don't know other agents doing that. All right. 10 minutes left. We do have, so our CMA has a series, so they're going to get, if they give me their info, they're in my system, right? Whether they're working with an agent or not. Now, you're not supposed to have a real estate conversation with someone else's client outside of an open house, but you can certainly send them generic listings. And so we have a little leads working with another agent tool that just kind of drops them emails. Hey, how you doing? Everything good? So there's always something you can do. Let me know if you find yourself not working with another agent. And then set every person up with a search. Okay, so always assume the sale. If you have their information, assume they're going to work with you. Assume that they want to have information. Hopefully you learned enough about them. If you don't know anything about them, they came to your open, so set them up for a search about things like the open you just met them in. But that search can be this little drip that doesn't have to be annoying. It's just properties, and maybe it's on a weekly basis. Maybe it's bi-week, maybe it's monthly, whatever it is that you feel is appropriate for that relationship, but do something, right? And you have to schedule it to do it. So if you don't do it immediately after the open, that's what Mondays are for the follow-up. All right. So any questions in general on the opens? Did I talk about everything you thought I was going to talk about? Is there anything that I missed that?
I'm interested in your thoughts about condominium.
Okay.
How you have nuts and bolts. Obviously describing a large facility, has amenities. You're not just gonna have somebody come in and go to these places.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so number one thing, make yourself a sign, laminate it with open house, brokerage, your name and phone number, and you put it on the front door. So now you got their number. Haha. They're gonna call you or text you. I'll be sitting right there in the entryway and I'll wait for them to call me. I see they're here. But now I have their number, right? And they'll also, it's really hard in like condos like Bridgewater, these big places that it takes you forever to get from there to there. Thank you so much. I've got someone. I'm on my way down to get you. Please have patience. I'll be down there. If they don't even have patience for that, you saved yourself a bunch of headache because they weren't even they're gonna waste your time anyway. I have hired people to come with me to be the door person so that they can be shuffling people while I'm having the real conversations up in the unit. And then sometimes I'll say, okay, everybody who's here, I'm going to do a tour around the amenities if you want to come with. And then we do a tour around the amenities. The entire time I'm having, and this is where it's very important to know your stuff, because now all of a sudden I'm on stage and I have to present to all of this information. And, oh, good question. That's great. I don't know the answer, but I'll get it for you. And why don't I get your info? Did you sign in? Because I'm going to follow up and I'm going to get you that information. But condos are a tough one because they're all different. And you have to figure out what's unique about them. Again, the buyer of this condo. Why does somebody pick the Legacy? It's because it has amenities better than any other condo building in the metro. So you got to be like, that's why you want to be here. Do you like pools, workout facilities? This has two. It has a dog walking station. It has indoor and outdoor dog relief areas. You know, it's got the ability for EV charging, you know, all of these little tips and tricks and what's important to you, you know. But condos are a tough one, and you really got to prepare. You got to go there. You almost have to get a tour of it yourself from the seller. Or I don't know who. Yeah, you got to figure it out.
So when you're capturing leads, it's like a QR code with this app, or how do you do this?
No, Spacio,
Yeah. I guess I haven't looked into it yet. So I'm just curious.
you know, whether this integrates with your back end CRM or not, it's a good tool, or at least the mentality is, and it's set up for them to, why is this not populating for me? There it is. It's set up for them to enter it on their own. And I have it sitting there, but I tend to want to do it for them because people are less likely to fat finger their email on
You
purpose.
have like an iPad or where that they enter it into Spacio?
Literally my computer.
Okay, okay.
Yep. So like, where is it? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But so this is up. And it has a series of generic questions, you know, how'd you hear about this? At what point in the buying process are you? Are you working with an agent? Are you looking to buy, sell, or both? Right? But I only care about name, email, phone, and I'll say, hey, do you mind if I get your information? Straightforward.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Why I don't like to ask for their information when they check in is, when's the last time you decided to work with somebody that tricked you into getting their information? Like, that's backwards. Like, come on, man. Just be straight with me. I promise you that I will be transparent and straight with you our entire working relationship, and it starts right now, right? I assume that I have your business, and I'm going to earn it and give me the opportunity to prove to you and bring you value. So do you mind if I get your info? I had a lovely time talking with you today. I think that I have some good things to follow up with, and quite frankly, I'm trying to earn your business. Okay, great. And then I fill it in, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, immediately, this thing will generate an email, but I also have a template kind of worked in. And most recently, started to implement the sending the supplements thing. Yeah, because how can I bring more value? I'm not just going to send more information. Well, more information, what, the price and a picture? They already saw that. So I'm thinking, that's not really more value. What's more value? Oh, I know. Something only an agent can get. Oh, you don't have an agent. Well, let me just facilitate this for you. I'm going to send you some supplements. Supplements are blah, 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 right? We even have a template that defines what supplements are down to the city. So again, 1% more. You would be, let me just give you a little insight into our
Craziness.
we have our email templates are vast. So these are all custom made email templates for every step in the transaction, buy side and sell side, plus lead generation. I hate wasting time. I don't want to, if I have to write out an email that's complicated, I don't want to do it twice. So I create a template for it. But I have a template that talks about supplements, and it talks about Tish, and it talks about Tish in different cities. And I just did, like, you know, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Golden Valley, St. Louis Park, you know, some of the main offenders of super annoying, what you can expect. Infiltration, right? That Golden Valley thing there.
The word.
What is it?
Well,
Inflow and infiltration
Yeah.
compliance.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is your opportunity to shine and to bring them value. And for someone who has never even heard the word supplement, much less know what these are or know that they're in existence.
vitamins, right? Isn't that what that is? Vitamins. You know, all your nutrients.
While that's loading, can you talk about how you choose your open houses if it's not a listing of yours? Like,
Well,
what do you target?
I mean, obviously I'm trying to figure out which one's going to have the most activity. So if you can find something that is weekend number one on the market, that'd be ideal. A lot of times agents want to do those. I understand. Sometimes agents don't like doing open houses. I don't know why. Maybe they're out of town. But first weekend or second weekend after a price reduction, then the next tier is it an area that I'm comfortable in? Have I recently had a listing in that area? Am I going to have a listing in that area? Have I lived in that area? Price point. You know, you, underneath our broker, we are all salespeople. So we are covered by our errors and emissions insurance to do an open of any agent in the Edina brokerage. So ideally, that is what you're looking at. You can pull it up in the MLS and look at every listing under this brokerage at any time. Pick and choose, take a look. Is it distressed? You know, like what, maybe you preview it. Price point, has it been marketed well? Does it show well online? What kind of activity have you got? So, you know, but be purposeful, you know, pick it out, make sure it's the best one for you. Don't just pick a dog that is overpriced. I mean, certainly look and see if it's overpriced in your opinion. I would not suggest doing an open at a property that's overpriced if you can help it. Because the market will remind you that it's overpriced by nobody showing up. That's my one listing I have right now. I have a 1-bedroom condo in Uptown for $390,000, 0 showings. Yes, it's my listing, and they eyes wide open. We knew this was pushing it. So here's all the templates here. Buyer 1 through 10, like every step in the process. I'll show you the supplements one. So this, again, always a work in progress, always making it better. Here's where I put the links, right? Property links, definition, seller's disclosure alternative, lead-based paint, well disclosure, certificate of inflow and infiltration compliance with a link to the city website, point of sale inspection or truth in sale of housing, certificate of approval, and then links to the certain cities, which I may or may not, delete if it's not important to them. But I mean, that's pretty, first time home buyers are kind of like, thank you very much. People who have sold homes before are like, forgot about that. Yeah. So, and again, I try to make templates of that because I want to be as thoughtful as possible, but time is money. If you're not doing anything, you could be lead genning or getting prepped for your open house or, I have to plug coming into the office. There's nothing to do with open houses, but when you can focus on your business, that if you're not working full time at being real estate and you're not focusing, I think that you can do better. And I'm a big fan of the office, and that's why we moved our team here. And it's a nice facility, and people are great and helpful, and you bump shoulders with other agents, and maybe you pick up an open house. But I think that all of our energy keeps everybody rising, and I appreciate you guys coming to this today. This is great.
I don't do open houses that are pending inspection. Would you?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Going feedback, we had a conversation on this morning. We have a coming soon, Thursday. And we got an offer sight unseen.
Oh, wow.
And we have 2 open houses booked already for the weekend.
Wow.
So we've been contemplating what to do. Have the open house, accept the offer, have the open house pending inspection.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah. It's funny. I found that the optics of an open house, the general public feels like that is a clincher to sell it, and it's like, you don't realize that the chances of someone coming to the open and buying it are super low, but apparently you can use it as leverage though. So you have somebody who sight unseen put an offer in, which, right? So you're like, you haven't seen the bathroom in person. You have no idea if you even like it. So maybe I would use that as leverage to say, hey, that sounds great. So, you still have an opens? Well, yeah, we're going to still have opens. Well, yeah, you better stick to your guns and make good on your promises with your nice offer. And we're going to have our opens anyway. Thank you. I probably would in that scenario.
You would. Yeah.
I would for that one because of that specific scenario of them making an offer sight unseen. If I'm representing somebody and I'm doing a virtual showing, I try not to let that out of the bag.
Well, that's just it. I mean, because the agent is actually
saying, well, how about if we have an agreement? And then you can still have your open houses, with, it's a little bit bigger for us.
Yeah.
Take our offer, if we come back this weekend, we're reducing, we're not coming in, because it's over list. So she's saying, like, let's have an agreement, not have it pending inspection, so we can have activity. So it's kind of like a wishy-washy, I won't refer this one to you, Tom.
What now? They said that if you haven't opened, that they might,
They would like us, because I said, we want, so I'll just say it's Bree's first listing, right?
Okay.
Brand new agent, first listing. Open house on her own, and post it.
yeah,
And to capture some momentum.
yeah.
So I was super honest with the agent and I said, this is what's the deal. It's a great offer. The seller has decided to let it have an open. She'd like to have the seller has said, I want to leave it on the market at least 48 hours.
So you didn't accept it.
We did not yet.
I love
They're
that. I love
They're
that.
back. They're pushed
Well,
hard.
I,
If we don't take our offer and we come back on the weekend, we're not coming in at over value.
sounds great. Sounds like you weren't the person we wanted to partner with. We thought you were. I mean, my opinion, I love it. Boy, just imagine how much activity we might have if we had an open, if you're coming in this hot and heavy this early. I don't know. It's always a seller's decision, first off.
And it was.
Yep.
Seller making that decision.
Yep. You always want to play worst case scenario, lay it all out. I get calls from the team all the time. What would you do? What do the sellers want to do? You know, that's first thing, right? Make sure that you explain fully the benefits and pitfalls of both. And then you can give your opinion, but you have to, and sometimes in writing, you know, I have a template. You have received an offer. You can accept, reject, or counter. I have that in my template because you can, right? I would hate to be the guy that says, well, we can certainly get more, or let's counter these people. Yeah, I think we got the leverage. Why didn't I just accept it? Well, you always had that opportunity. You can accept it right now. Absolutely your game. But I personally would challenge them. And I would challenge them. I like that. I would have an open. Not selfishly to get clients, but because it, you know, and you could say to them, well, yeah, you might have to raise your offer. So stick to your guns. That's fine. We appreciate your offer. Thanks. That's awesome. But the seller decided to give, you know, you hear like, the seller decided out of respect to let everyone who is booked a showing to see it. I'm like, get out of here with that. You know, I won. I was having a really tough time in Como neighborhood, competitive, sub 400. You know, the home was listed at 310. We just looked at one at 340, which was a rental. You could tell just kind of dirty and a DIY and 340. And we're just like, we looked at each other and we're like, this is not it, is it? No, it's not. We saw the next one, full brick, like little bungalow, updated kitchen, granite countertops, 310 it was listed at. I looked at her and I go, you remember that last one, right? That's going to sell. We both agreed, 340, it's going to sell. This one, let's just come in hot and heavy. We came in at 350 and she goes, what? And I go, yeah, but we want you to accept it today. Sunset clause, I hate those, but I'm like, we were getting beat up for months. So I'm like, we need to do something different. She goes, I go, what do you think? She goes, boy, that's great. I'll send it over. I go, no, we're going to write it if you accept it. Find out. She goes, I'm going to encourage her to. I go, well, then I wrote it in the sunset at 6 o'clock. And she goes, oh, but why'd you put that? Because I want you to sign it today. This isn't like and she did. And the other one went into multiples. So super fun. It was great, but she could have taken it and she would have got more if she would have waited, I think. So, yeah, but you got to have confidence, right? And it's a seller's choice. Yeah. I did that with a cabin that was set up for an Airbnb out, I forget which even lake now, but the guy, I go, what's your shut it down price? He goes, you know what? I love that. You know, and the other agent and I were, and this was on a Friday, in a cabin set up for Airbnb. Everything came with it, 500,000.
Oh, wasn't it like
500?
Annandale or somewhere?
Annandale, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like 525. And we're like, done. And they were happy, we were happy. And about 25 agents called and just reamed him out. He goes, I got my butt chewed. And I'm like, don't tell your sellers, right? Like this is, but it worked. So I don't know, you know, it's a game and it's not your gamble. All right, so everybody here needs to schedule an open for this weekend today. How about that?
Great. Thanks, Nikolai.
Yeah. Including me.
Right? I was actually expecting, Tim Sabral. Oh. And listening. I know, I told him that you guys was, no, I'm pulling it at my house. Two bedrooms, not getting any eyeballs. That may or may not be the market. Because you guys should pop over and see it sometime. We'll do it, easily networking. I know. For real, I honestly like. Okay, depending on how many people want to. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's recorded. It's a block out.
I do. I've been there too. You. Hey, with like checking that behavior and working to manage it. And I feel like I'm busy, Betsy. I feel like I can handle everything, right? I know. So, like, oh my God. I have one with. If.
Ironically, they were like yesterday on the morning.
Anyway, gotcha.
Wow. I didn't roll. You are a rock star.
Things that I marked everything. Right. And how that listing agent
That was
was
good.
directing his sellers, right? Just you taking what we were sharing,
They like.
value and.
They're gonna inherit it.
That's how I was delivering it, and then she would back away
Alright.
and not follow through on like officially writing the offer. Yeah, and I was like, this is also like, having an impact on my record. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that free, your price point.
Great. We're actually doing that again.
But-
My husband and I found another property.
You know, like, can we just keep it to 6 offers and not get?
And I get 21 and like, yeah, his name, and then my sellers are like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, honestly. But then they found it crazy, it's all done, but there's foundation issues on that Elliott house, on the walls. Oh gosh. And a plumbing
Yes.
issue, but they still followed through and took the house to some negotiations. But
Okay,
that's how much I
yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
done, you do it.
Nice.
Well, it's like, oh, old house, it wasn't like, say, just some old going walls.
Right, and it's like.
Yeah, if everything's fixable, it's gonna be.
No, that's so funny.
Yeah.
That time.
I just, yeah, when I saw you, I was like, oh, I gotta tell her.
She would have called me, like the she was closing, like she is going through again.
Yeah, she was watching, she was
Like, pending,
absolutely watching pending. And, well, I'm like, it's kind of like closing, well, sure, yes, I am.
Well, you guys were on my list, so like, if anything changes,
Anyway.
I will.
Right. But have some respect for your representation.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and then
How's that fire go?
I did, it was hard. And so. And, oh, I'm ridiculous optimistic.
Just wait, things will change.
Yeah, and we had never met in person. She was from,
Yes.
and yeah. Donut waste. I feel it's best that, you know, curtail our relationship at this juncture. And then I will share, I didn't just like, you're bugging me, I'm doing this. The last one, she passed away, I followed up. Down live. Yeah. Never wrong. So that was very clear.
Open conversation. You and her.